And now to start our official meeting, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call our meeting today for January the 15th, 2020 to order at 10 a.m. Prior to us starting with the regular agenda, I would like to, board, make a motion here this morning. I just want to bring to your attention that the draft agenda was not provided to us in a time frame that is shown in our rules and procedures here at the Clermont County Board of Commissioners. We are supposed to have that agenda 3 days prior to this meeting. Because of our reorganization meeting that we had, it was late getting out, and I think it was available as of yesterday. Was that correct, Judy?
Correct.
And was posted on the web so that people could take a look at it. But because of that, I'm asking that we consider a amendment of the rules. And obviously in Section 7 of our rules and requirements, there is a section for amendment of those rules, and it says that these rules may be amended or repealed by a vote of the majority of the board. And keep in mind, rules shall become effective at the next regular session after approval, and a rule may be temporarily suspended by a majority of the vote. So I'd like to make a motion that we temporarily suspend the requirement that is shown in agenda preparation, Section 3 of the Rules of the Procedure. And that said that the draft would be for each of the business days placed on there, and the copy will be available for public inspection as soon as they are completed. Each member will receive a copy of the draft for regular session. It was provided to the public as soon as it was completed, but the 3-day requirement was not met. So I'm asking to suspend that 3-day requirement for us today so that we can move on with this meeting.
We're not doing that in the future. We're not planning, this motion doesn't do that into the future.
It does not, just for today. I've moved on that and provided the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion?
No.
Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
All right, we've taken care of that, and we'll move to B. B says approval of regular session minutes for 1/13/2020. I know you've had those minutes in advance. You've had time to review them and to ask for any clarifications or changes that you needed. Do I have a motion to approve the regular session minutes for 1/13/2020?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and received a second. Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. And now we're down to C, public participation. We've reached the public participation section of the agenda. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the board. During this time, the board does not answer questions nor engage in debate. The commissioners are not expected to comment on matters brought before the board. During this time, each speaker can speak only once and shall be recognized by the board president before speaking. In accordance with the board's rules of procedures, you have 5 minutes to make your comments. Do we have anyone here who would like to address the board this morning? Bonnie Batchelor?
Address about the Clermont County Township Association.
No problem with that. Please state your name and address.
Bonnie Batchelor, 3754 Amberwood Court, Amelia. I wanted to come, April is our spring banquet again this year, and April the 16th. And the purpose of that, we raise money. We give to the charities in Clermont County to help different organizations. I will say there's one organization, The Cure Starts Now. That is the one where Lauren Hill died of the brain cancer. Brad Johansson, who was very close with her sports director for Channel 12, that was his charity. we allocate $1,000 for a speaker, but we ask them to give us a charity and we send that money. So we have kept that on, even though it is outside of Clermont County, because of so many little kids. You know, I just heard on the news where another little child was diagnosed with that. But anyone can come to that banquet, and there's a catered dinner. And we started a few years ago doing a silent auction that Commissioner Corcoran has donated it's one of the real fun items to auction off, and doing the silent auction has helped us to raise more money. So over the last 10 years, we have donated over $100,000 to charities in Clermont County. So if anyone wants to help this organization, it is a real good thing that we do. It's a very fun evening. We usually have over 300 people. And also each year we select someone as a Lifetime Achievement Award. Commissioner Humphrey, a couple years ago, received that for all of his work in Clermont County. So it is a fun evening, a good dinner, and hope you can come and help us make this even a bigger year this year.
And how do they get tickets?
And how do you get tickets? We send out letters a couple months before to our vendors. I've done an article with the Sun, and they print an article about the banquet and put phone numbers and addresses in there. But you can contact me. I'm once again starting my 8th year as president of this lovely organization. And you can get in touch with me. My number's in the book. I'm a trustee in Pierce Township. You can reach me in several different ways.
And the location of the banquet?
Thanks, Judy. You're a good prompter.
Judy is.
We used to do it at Grant Vocational School. We kind of outgrew that. We have over 300 people that attend this each year. So
Is it the fairgrounds?
it's at the fairground, at their community. I call it the community building. I don't know what the proper name of it is, building over there. But we have,
Multi-purpose building, I think.
thank you, Ed. That's what it
Word
is.
they use.
So, hope you can attend, and thank you for all of your support, commissioners, even though Mr. Painter and I have fights over the silent auction things.
I wasn't going to let you leave that podium before you.
I knew. He threatened to have me arrested last year, if the truth be known. We have certain items that we kind of go for, and he
Got
put,
it.
And it's all for a good cause.
it is, it's a fun evening, as I said. So thank
Thanks.
you for your time.
You bet. Thanks for
Appreciate it.
coming,
I
Bob.
know exactly how many years you've been president because you followed me, and I've been a commissioner. This is starting my 8th year, so, yes,
And I hope I get to follow you in that position.
there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to participate? Chris, floor is yours. Please state your name and your address.
Hi there, I'm Chris Hicks from 444 Woodward Court, Cincinnati, Ohio. I know there's a 5-minute rule. I hope you will grant me some discretion because I've been asked by Chris Dorr, the executive director of Ohio Gun Owners, to read a letter on his behalf because he could not be here on short notice. But I also want to make some comments myself. And as we just saw with Ms. Batchelor, you can interact with speakers. Your rules don't prohibit interacting with people that come to the podium. So I think on important policy issues that should happen. I think what happened here on Monday when we passed the Second Amendment sanctuary resolution, it was a travesty. And I'm a very pro-Second Amendment guy. I'm a conservative. Conservatives are about the rule of law, and we're about thoughtful policy, not political stunts. What we saw here on Monday was a clown show. We saw good people that are for Second Amendment rights come in here and get played. They gave a resolution to our commissioners, and they just adopted it as is. No consultation with the sheriff, no consultation with other law enforcement, no consultation with our legislators, nothing. I repeatedly called for pause this, have an open forum, make sure we know what we're doing. Wasn't good enough for Commissioner Painter. He needed the photo op in front of the podium. It's scary. What's going to happen next? Are we going to pass a resolution that I'm super pro-life, but are we going to pass a pro-life resolution and now we're a sanctuary pro-life county, a sanctuary speeding county, a sanctuary don't pay your taxes county? We all know that you commissioners don't have any rights or responsibilities on those issues whatsoever. That's the sheriff's purview. And this should be a state and a county that's about the rule of law. We have Republican-dominated legislatures. If we get bad laws, we're all Republicans here. It's their own damn fault. We have courts that determine whether a law is constitutional, not a deputy on the street. After you did what you did, I had somebody contact me and ask me, does what they did mean we are a constitutional carry county now? That's the kind of confusion you create in ham-handed policy.
Hope you answered that properly. That we are not.
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
Okay? But how do they know that? How do they know? What happens when an officer pulls somebody over and the person says, I don't have to disclose I have a gun in the car now because I heard you're a sanctuary county? It's very dangerous when policymakers do political stunts where you didn't even properly consult with the sheriff, who has 200 and something deputies out on the streets. You didn't consult with Union Township Police, Miami Township Police, Goshen Police. It's absolutely absurd. It's absolutely a farce. And Mr. Humphrey and Ms. Corcoran, as you see David Painter in panic mode because he's got an opponent, you sit there like lackeys. And Ed explains how we don't need to have open forums on an agenda where all the other items are things like appointing somebody to the Adams Board, Waste Management Board. It's all a housekeeping meeting. Second Amendment, you had an open forum on toilets in Newtonsville. But you didn't have an open forum on Second Amendment? Because we don't have the time. Somebody gave us, some gun people came in, good people, gave us a resolution and we just passed it. It's absolutely absurd. What I found out after that meeting, and I'll begin reading the letters, and I appreciate the discretion on time, because Mr. Doerr couldn't be here. He's willing to come here at a future time. I found out because I read it in the Enquirer article that Buckeye Firearms, the largest and most influential second rights group, is against what you did. Arguably, equally as influential, Ohio Gun Owners is against what you did. You didn't bother to ask them. You didn't bother to ask them. You let somebody over the weekend give you a resolution and you just pass it. So with that, I'm going to read Chris Doerr, the executive director of Ohio Gun Owners, letter. And just one other thing.
And we received that and we read
You
it.
can't
So
make,
you may
you thank
read
you, Ed, you can't make policy by emotion. That's very dangerous. And that's what our founding fathers tried to keep us from doing. It's called having due process. It's called make sure you do it right. Let me read the letter from Chris Doerr. As the head of Ohio Gun Owners, I am concerned with your hasty passage of a Second Amendment sanctuary county resolution for Clermont County, and we are not in support of such measures in Ohio at this time. Please let me explain. Ohio has a Republican legislature and are working hard to build a favorable climate for gun ownership and Second Amendment rights. Backed up by the biggest, most robust, and involved grassroots membership in Ohio, we are proud to say that our organization stopped Governor Kasich's red flag gun confiscation in 2018 and are playing a central role to stopping current Governor Mike DeWine's similar proposal, Senate Bill 221. It is very important to our membership and the gun owner community in Ohio that our state have uniform laws and enforcement that protects our Second Amendment rights. At present, we are doing a good job keeping the legislature accountable. In our opinion, sanctuary resolutions and ordinances are unnecessary at this time and may even have the unintended consequence of setting gun owners back by creating the appearance of a patchwork of laws and enforcement based on the county in which a person is located. One thing that our organization and other organizations in Ohio have worked hard for many years is to make sure that local entities are not allowed under ORC 9.68 to preempt people's firearms rights by passing laws or ordinances that are more restrictive than state law. Preventing that preemption of rights is an important part of having one uniform set of laws and one uniform standard of enforcement. A huge risk entered into then when resolutions such as yours are allowed to pass because of the signal they send? What will happen if Hamilton County now decides not to enforce preemption laws on the books that protect gun owners' rights? Because of this reason, we strongly encourage you to rescind and repeal your Second Amendment resolution, sanctuary resolution. Our organization and our membership is the 800-pound gorilla standing between gun owners' rights and gun control bills being considered in our General Assembly. And our statewide membership is laser focused on stopping every single gun control bill our General Assembly produces. The same gun control we presume motivated the passage of your Second Amendment sanctuary resolution. Should the day ever arise when gun control activist legislators seize control of our General Assembly or garner enough votes to pass gun control measures similar to what we're seeing in Virginia, our organization will be fighting tooth and nail to make sure that local protections are enacted across the state. We strongly encourage and request that you to rescind and repeal your Second Amendment sanctuary resolution. Sincerely, Chris Dorr, Executive Director, Ohio Gun Owners. You guys wouldn't pause to let there be input and didn't know that the two largest gun rights groups in Ohio are against what you did. Mr. Painter, you stand at the precipice of becoming the face of the man who undid effective policy for gun rights in Ohio, but for a political stunt. I'd suggest you listen to Mr. Dorr, you engage Buckeye Firearms, you engage the law enforcement community, you do things that engage citizens. The first step to that is repealing the nonsense that you did on Monday based on a group that sent you a resolution over the weekend. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the discretion on the time.
I'd like to comment because you told me I could do that. We didn't change the law, and you knew that, and you should have explained that to others. We didn't change the law. We didn't ask police officers to not enforce the law. We simply said we support the Second Amendment, as I heard you say that you support it. So there isn't any, the only word in there that would give cause is sanctuary. And that's because it is used in sanctuary for people coming into our country. There is no sanctuary for gun ownership. There is no change in Clermont County law or enforcement. I chatted with the sheriff. I've chatted with officers from Loveland. I've chatted with others, and there is no change in the law in Clermont County. And it is clear that that is true, and I hope you told people, because you're just stirring things up because you happen to be running against Mr. Painter for county commissioner. You're stirring things up, Chris. That's all it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Humphrey.
And likewise, I'd make a comment on that. Chris, you just stood up here and you said that Sheriff Leahy hadn't been consulted. I did consult Sheriff Leahy, and him and I had a long, lengthy conversation. But I'm going to tell you what he advised. I'm going to give you a thing. He said, my advisement to you would be not to give Chris Hicks a stage to make a large issue on like it's just happened. And that's probably why he's told you that I didn't consult him. I consulted him on this exact thing before it was ever considered. We have considered this since December the 2nd through the 6th, when we were at CCAO, when Mike DeWine stated that he has every intention of passing laws in this state that are ultra restrictive and will, in fact, impact people's Second Amendment rights. And the second thing I wanted to point out is that you said you are a Second Amendment guy. What you say from this podium tells me you're not for the Second Amendment. And I would question you like you questioned me about owning a Harley Davidson. I doubt that you own a firearm. Thank you. Before we move to the consent agenda, I know we have some people here who would like to be introduced this morning, brand new employees.
Let's see if there are any other public participation before we move on.
We'll do that. Anyone else from the public? We'll close public participation.
Thank you.
And we'll move on for introductions. Who'd like to be first this morning?
Oh,
There you go.
Water Resource.
That's somebody who
Department.
wants to move, huh?
Shannon Reisner will introduce the new employees. I guess they want to get it out of the way quickly, right?
Shannon Reisner, I'm the lab supervisor and industrial pretreatment coordinator with Water Resources. It is my pleasure to introduce Keisha Fontaine. Keisha joined us in September as a lab technician. Keisha grew up in Clermont County. She has a master's degree in community planning from the University of Cincinnati, as well as a bachelor's degree in biology from the University of Alaska Fairbanks. She worked on a federal level as a wildlife biologist for the United States Bureau of Land Management in Nevada, and a soil conservationist for the Department of Agriculture, Natural Resources Conservation Service in Illinois. She also served as a scenic river intern for the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. She came to the lab already knowing a lot of the tests that we run for water quality, and she's been a fabulous addition to our team.
Welcome.
You're welcome. Hope you've formed deep roots in Clermont County, and you've moved around a lot. Hope you form deep roots and stay here with us.
That's what my father wants. We'll see.
Welcome to Clermont County, and thanks for picking us.
Thank you.
Want to stay, 'cause we'll do a pass?
Yeah,
Oh,
she'll
okay,
stay.
good, good.
Next,
We have Lyle Bloom.
I'm Lyle Bloom, Director with Clermont County Water Resource Department, and today I have Jennifer Diesel Sloan. Jennifer started a couple weeks ago as an administrative support specialist. She works out of our office at 4400 Haskell Lane. Prior to coming to Clermont County, Jennifer was a mayor's court clerk and police chief assistant with the Village of Amelia. So we're happy to have her from there. She also, prior to that, worked for the Clermont County Municipal Court as a deputy clerk there as well. So we're happy to have her. She's been a great addition to our team. Oh, sorry.
Welcome.
She's also from Clermont County. I said I was going to mention that. So Jennifer grew up in Felicity, went to Felicity High School, but now lives locally here in Batavia.
Very nice.
and
She's
with
moving
a-
around.
And with a maiden name of Diesel, that would have to be associated with Kenny or David Diesel.
David is my father, yes.
There you go. Thought so.
We were joking
Welcome.
about how she's
We,
probably related to someone.
Welcome.
We grew up
Yeah.
on the same block in New Richmond.
Oh, no, it's
We did. Thank you.
Okay, Tim Dick.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everyone. Tim Dick, Director of Department of Job and Family Services. It's my pleasure to introduce 4 of the newest employees for JFS. Start to my immediate right. Hardy Carroll joins the Children's Protective Services Division as a Social Service Worker 3. Hardy graduated from Olivet Nazarene University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Psychology and Criminal Justice, and also minored in Sociology, and he is working in our foster care unit. Next to him is Megan Kloss. Megan joins the Children's Protective Services as a Social Service Worker 3. Her experience includes working with children from child care to teaching to volunteering at children's homes overseas. Megan has a bachelor's in psychology from Northern Kentucky University and is currently pursuing a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. Next to her is Amanda Karleski, joins the Public Assistance Division as a Income Maintenance Worker 3. Prior to joining Clermont County, Amanda had 2 years' experience in public assistance works in a neighboring county. She also has experience working in early education as a teacher and assistant director, and she has a bachelor's of arts degree in communication from the University of Toledo, and also has a master's of public administration degree from Indiana State University. And then finally, on the far right is Rob Odell. Rob joins the Public Assistance Division as an Income Maintenance Worker 3. Rob has an associate's degree in psychology and a bachelor's degree in biblical studies and youth ministry from Cincinnati Bible College. Rob also served in the Marine Corps as a military police officer, and he is currently an associate pastor at a local church. So we're happy to have all 4 of them and the experience and education that they bring.
Thanks for
Welcome.
picking. Thanks for picking Clermont County, and welcome.
Yes.
Rob, thank you for your service. Anyone else to be introduced this morning?
Yes.
Sandy Tahat.
Sandy?
Sandy's going to introduce.
Good morning, Sandy Tahad, Human Resources, and it is my pleasure to introduce Erin Meadows. Erin joined us the late December, and she's an administrative assistant with the Board of County Commissioners Office. Erin is a graduate of Northern Kentucky University with a bachelor's degree in mental health human services. She has over 11 years of public service with Clermont County. She's recently joined us from Common Pleas in the assignment office. She worked 5.5 years there, and she worked about 6 years in Job and Family Services as in CPS. So we're thrilled to have her on board.
I'm glad to have her on board because she already corrected my schedule. I said, well, I've got to be here these days. And she goes, no, you don't. And I'm like, okay.
We're happy to have a smiling face there,
And Erin is backfilling.
as we have had in the past.
She is backfilling a position.
She is backfilling a position that was vacated by promotion by Ms. Holly Cruey.
Yes.
Erin, thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming to Clermont County.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for.
I, for one, really appreciate you today.
If you're a new employee here today, come up and stand in front of the,
Do we want to stand back here?
Go down or up?
probably stand back here, I
Yeah.
would think,
That works. For Mr. Humphrey.
right?
Whatever you say, boss.
Pick a spot there.
Okay, we got to do,
Yep, you gotta find one.
Got me?
There you go.
can make us do it again. Smile or you really will stand here forever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody.
Thanks for coming this morning. We'll move to D. D of our agenda, the consent agenda. Board, I know the consent agenda was prepared for you. You have had it in advance and had an opportunity to take a look at it and ask for any clarifications you might need. Are there any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda for further conversation or discussion?
No.
Not for me.
Seeing none, then I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as it has been provided and prepared.
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved, received a second. Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. E, the non-consent agenda starts on page 4. Starts with item number 5, a recommendation that the Board of Commissioners, resolution number 010-20, resolving to approve payment to vendors in the revised total amount of $3,851,549.71, as set forth in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated January 5th, 2020. BCC directed prepaid invoice reports and procurement card transaction report is presented by the county auditor on 1/14/2020. And further, authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for the same pursuant to 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved, received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey.
Aye.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. Item number 6, recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution 011-20 resolving to approve payment included in the BCC invoice approval report for checks dated January 5th, 2020, presented by the county auditor. 1/14/2020 is reflected in the vendor excerpt report prepared by the OMB in the amount of $144.16, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion?
Just a correction, January 15th instead of.
January 15th, 2020. Okay, thanks, Ed. Thanks. Do I have a motion to approve item 6?
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second that motion. Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey.
Abstain.
Item number 7.
Good morning.
Morning.
Again, I'm Lyle Bloom, Director with Clermont County Water Resource Department, and item number 7 is a request to approve the request to advertise for bids for electrical maintenance and repair of water and wastewater treatment plants and appurtenances for the Clermont County Water Resource Department pursuant to the specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, January 23rd, 2020. Schedule a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on Thursday, February 6th, 2020 at 9 a.m. with bids to be received until 2:00 p.m. local time on Thursday, February 13th, 2020, here in the office of the Board of County Commissioners, 101 East Main Street. Will it be publicly open or read aloud shortly thereafter, and the legal notice will also be posted on the county's website. So this is a contract that we've had in place since 2016. The current contract is set to expire. It supplements our current staff to help with any electrical repairs we have. We have 108 lift stations, 8 wastewater plants, 3 water plants, booster stations. We have a lot of infrastructure out there that requires electrical needs. Estimated annual cost for this contract is $100,800.
Okay. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 7. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 8.
Item number 8 is a recommendation to approve the request to advertise for bids for contracted services to provide lawn mowing and lawn maintenance of Clermont County properties pursuant to the specifications, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on January 23rd, 2020. Schedule the non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on February 6th, 2020 at 10 a.m. with bids to be received until 2:00 p.m. local time on Thursday, February 13th, 2020. Here in the Office of the Board of County Commissioners, they will be publicly open and read aloud shortly thereafter, and this legal notice will also be posted on the county's website. This is for mowing services at our water treatment plants and our water towers, our wastewater treatment plants, and some other wastewater facilities we have, as well as other county properties that facilities maintenance maintains. This includes that. So the total estimated annual amount is $87,000 for that.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 8 for contracted services to provide maintenance and grass mowing. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Been moved, received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Well, this has been pretty much about that cost
That
each
dollar
year.
amount.
I mean, it goes up a little bit
I
because
increased it a little bit this year compared, the estimate compared to last.
I thought we were about 76,000 last year or so.
Keeps going, everything increases every year, seems like, so, yeah, we just bumped it up a little.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 9.
Item number 9 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 012-20, resolving to determine to proceed with the construction, operation, and maintenance of the projects known as the Newtonsville Collection System Assessment Project and the Newtonsville Wastewater Treatment Plant Project located within Wayne Township, as set forth in Exhibit A and designated as project number 6402-60116 and 6402-60117, respectively, and in conformance with detailed plan specifications, revised estimates of cost and financing, and revised tenant of assessment rule as herein ratified and confirmed, all of which shall be paid from special assessment of benefited properties as identified in Exhibit B, attached thereto and made a part thereof, with a portion of the project cost to be paid by the County Wastewater System Capital Improvement Fund, the United States Department of Agriculture Grant and Loan Funds, and Ohio Public Works Commission grant funds as outlined therein pursuant to and in compliance with Chapter 6117 of the Ohio Revised Code. And if you recall, on December 23rd, in accordance with the requirements that are set forth in the Ohio Revised Code, we had a public hearing for this project. And
Several we've had. but-
yeah, we've had a couple public hearings. We've had lots of public meetings. Anytime we have assessments involved and people are going to be paying for this, we try to get as much public input and public involvement. But most recently, the public hearing on December 23rd, and then 5 days following,
The third.
December 3rd, yes.
It's okay.
December 3rd. And 5 days following, we received a total of 6 comments. The majority of the comments were just commenting on the drawings or commenting on their specific assessment and had questions on that. We did have one property owner that was in support and one property owner that was opposed. Also, to take into consideration with this is November 22nd, the county received the findings and orders from Ohio EPA that essentially are ordering the county to abate the nuisance by installation of public sanitary sewers. So this resolution will allow us to proceed with the project, begin easement acquisitions, and the permitting necessary to begin, hopefully begin construction later on this year.
So we have bids already in?
No.
Well,
Once we get all the easements and all the permits, then we will advertise for bids, and hopefully we get good bids.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 9. It suggests that we proceed with construction operations and maintenance of the project known as the Newtonsville Collection System Assessment Project. Do I have a motion for approval?
make a motion, we approve Resolution 12-20.
I'll second.
It's been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? This is a long process to do.
It's a big project.
It
and-
is.
Yeah.
Been here since before I was here, so yeah.
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 But it will change a portion of our county for the future
Absolutely, yes.
immensely. Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 10.
Item number 10 is a recommendation to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute a release of all claims between the Board of County Commissioners and Stephen T. Kroger and Amy Kroger, the releasers, at 5151 Chucker Point Lane, in the amount of $3,463.91 for property damage sustained as a result of a wastewater backup at the aforestated residence on or about July 3rd, 2019, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 10. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
A second?
It's been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 11.
Good morning again. Item 11 is a recommendation of Wade Grabowski, Director of the Clermont County Facilities Management Department, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to adopt a revised table for facilities management as outlined in Exhibit A, attached thereto, made a part thereof, effective upon board approval, and to authorize the update of the appropriate internet links and dependencies accordingly. The changes to the table of organization include the abolishment of 2 vacant positions, that being 1 Facilities Management Specialist 2, and the full-time position of Security Locksmith. We would be adding 1 Facilities Management Assistant Director to help with succession planning, and reclassify the current position of Facilities Management Technician from a pay range 7 to a Facilities Management Specialist 1, pay range 9.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 11. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I will second.
It's been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 12.
Item 12 is our annual adoption of our refreshment resolution, which is resolution number 013-20, resolving to recognize programs for which the county funds may be expended to purchase limited refreshments and to specify these activities are for a legitimate and necessary public purpose. Therefore, for calendar year 2020, set forth in Exhibit A, which is the table contained in the agenda, and it contains the department, the meeting, the amount of each of the meetings and the total for that department, as well as the total for the county.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion.
Second?
It's been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? While we're here, we'll as you go down these numbers, you see that one particular number sticks out way more than the rest. And that's the Department of Job and Family Services. And since this is for refreshment, the $17,300 number that's there, Tom, could you just talk about that for a second? There's a SWORTC, which is a $13,000 expenditure.
Yeah, that's to bring families in for training. Tim's here, he can explain it, but of that 17,000, 13,000 is for that
For that
purpose. So
training
I think
session.
it's foster parent training. Tim?
That's correct. It's foster parent training and also staff caseworker training. For those that are not familiar, the Regional Training Center is the regional hub for the Southwest area. So for the Children's Services side, we serve 8 counties. For the Adult Protective Services side, we serve 13 counties. So we have caseworkers from surrounding counties that train at our Regional Training Center. These are oftentimes all-day trainings for both CPS staff, Adult Protective Services staff, foster and adoptive parents. So we have a whole host of people that are in and out of that facility every day. So this $13,000 is, we offer coffee and tea there for the trainees throughout the day and also the trainers. I do want to note that these are not general revenue funds that this is coming out of. This is the state gives dollars for training, and that's how we administer that program. That's how we fund that program. There are no local dollars that are utilized for that particular program.
This includes lunch?
This does not include lunch.
Does not include lunch?
No, with the exception of that is we have our foster parent conference every year, and we provide dinner at the foster parent conference. Again, that's an all-day training for those.
So how do you get to 13,000 with coffee and donuts?
And probably instructors.
Right.
Instructors.
Room rental, instructors,
Instructors.
the people are actually, is that all
Okay.
included in it?
Okay.
Thousands of people going
Okay,
through this.
room rental. Yep, I got it.
And it's over how many day period?
The foster parent conference is over a 2-day period for the one that we host locally here.
There you go.
And Tim, off the top of your head, I know I'm throwing this at you, but that new training that's coming up, that you are doing with Swartz here, or, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yes, so that is coordinated through the Regional Training Center. So they coordinate, they provide the trainer, and then we are using the Batavia Township Civic Center for that. So yeah, that is coming out of the Regional Training Center's budget.
And it's going to be a great one to show everyone how Children's Services, what they can and cannot do, and all the different agencies that are involved, especially your police departments, that when we have an emergency, what the staff is permitted to do and what they are not permitted to do. And so everyone has a clarification.
Correct. It's the most frequent questions that are asked.
Yes.
DPS and why they operate the way they do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anything further, board? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 13.
13 is a recommendation to execute the second of 2 additional one-year extensions with First Transit pursuant to and in compliance with the management agreement ratified by the board on January 17, 2018, and we extended this for the first one-year term on January 17, 2019, and this is in compliance with the letter of intent executed by Commissioner Painter on 11/13/2019, and First Transit will act as the independent contractor to manage the efficient operation of the public transit system for Clermont County in the amount of $112,373 effective for the period of 1/20/2020 through 1/19/2021.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 13. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
A second?
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussions? Roll call, Judy.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Item number 14. Hi, Mary.
The office management budget, and item 14 is request to increase the annual appropriation for 2020 for the Domestic Relations Rodenberg Foundation Training Grant account within the general fund of $10,000. They were awarded $10,000 training grant this month, received money, so it wasn't we didn't anticipate it in the original appropriations.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and received a second. Anything further? Roll call, Judy.
Mrs. Corcoran?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes. Thanks, Mary. Item number 15.
Item 15 is a personnel action in the Board of County Commissioners. Rebecca Goff, Administrative Assistant 1, is a new hire effective 1/21/2020, and this will backfill Christine Hutchison's position.
Okay. Item number 15, you've heard the reading for the new hire position for Rebecca Goff. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and received a second. Anything further conversation? Roll call, Judy?
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Mr. Painter,
Yes. That concludes the non-consent agenda as provided. Do we have any add-ons, Tom, at this time?
No, sir.
Okay. Then F, since there are no additions to the agenda, we will move to G. I'm requesting an executive session pursuant to 121.22, G1, G3, and G6 of the Ohio Revised Code to first consider the employment and discipline of one or more public employees. Second, to confer with the prosecuting attorney regarding pending or imminent litigation. And third, to discuss details relative to the security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public body or a public office, respectively. Do I have a motion to move to executive session?
I will make that motion.
Second?
It's been moved and received a second. Roll call, Judy?
Corcoran,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye.
Mr. Painter,
Yes. We will move to executive session. We will return and conduct further business. Thank you. We are back from executive session. No decisions were made, and we'll move on with the agenda. Tom, are there any further additions for the agenda today?
Yes, sir.
H, county elected staff official discussion. There are no staff, well, there are staff. David, you're here with us. And elected officials to discuss, that would request any type of discussion, so I'll move from that. To I, member comments. Board, do you have any comments for today's meeting? Anything you'd like to address?
None.
Seeing none, then, I would ask for a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
So moved?
A second.
Been moved and received a second. Roll call, Judy?
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes. That concludes our meeting for January 15th, 2020. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.